Hi everybody and welcome to the fourth video of my Halloween week. I love making Halloween cards so much that I decided to share my joy with you and make a Halloween week out of it. Every year I treat myself to some supplies I can use for Christmas cards. This year I decided to finally go for the ready set snow set from Lawn Fawn. I figured this set would be cool for all kinds of scenes, not only winter ones. So that's how I came up with a Halloween themed snow globe. So without further ado, let's get started. Spreek je Nederlands? Er is ondertiteling beschikbaar. I start with coloring my images. I use Copic markers for that and I place the cap with the color number on the left of the paper so you can see which color I used. I stamped out the dino, unicorn, witch and pumpkin costume kits from the costume party stamp set from Lawn Fawn. The candy bucket and the broom are also from that set. Then we have one of the ghosts from the Booyah stamp set. I stamped him out in Memento London Fog to give him a more ghost-like look. His face is stamped with regular black ink. The bats and the small ghost are from the Tiny Halloween stamp set. Both these sets are from Lawn Fawn too. The small ghost is also stamped with Memento London Fog. If you want to skip watching me color, you can skip to the time that pop-ups on the screen now. You can also find a clickable time link in the description. After I've colored everything in, I go over the inner lines with my black fine liner to bring back some detail. I only show it with the witch on screen, but I do the rest off screen to save some time. Off screen, I also trace the face of the small ghost with my fine liner. To finish my images off, I'm adding highlights with a white gel pen. I'm die cutting the images off screen. Now I continue with coloring the snow globe. I've stamped that one out using my stamping platform. I've masked off the lines of the base so I could ink the glass part with Memento Summer Sky. Then I mask off the glass part so I could stamp the base in regular black ink. You can totally just stamp it all in black, but for this card I felt like it would add some detail to the snow globe. I'm going to heat emboss the sentiment on the base of the globe, so I brush it with baby powder to make it anti-static. I'm stamping on the sentiment "Have a fabulous day" from the Tiny Halloween set. I place the sentiment on my acrylic block and I've put that block over my image. I carefully curve the sentiment to fit the curve of the base. After I stamp the sentiment on with clear embossing ink, I'm sprinkling on my clear embossing powder. With a preheated heat tool, to prevent warping the paper too much, I melt the powder quickly. Now I need to die cut the snow globe. You could use this die from the shaker add-on to cut out the globe and the inside of the globe, but since I'm not making a shaker out of it, I think the border is way too thick. So first I'm using the regular die from the globe to cut out the globe. Then I'm using the die that you can use to give a snowy backdrop to the globe to cut out the inside of the globe. As you can see, you end up with a nice thin border. With the regular globe die, I cut out a globe from watercolor paper. With Distress Oxide, Wilted Violet and Seedless Preserves, I'm going to ink blend a nice gradient for the background of the globe. Next, I'm sprinkling on some water. I dab off the excess with a paper towel. I have this little spray bottle with water where I add some water-based silver metallic paint to. I give it a good shake and I spray my glow background with it. I dab it off right away and as you can see, you're left with a nice shine on your paper. Off screen, I splatter some white paint. Now I'm gluing both snow globe parts together using liquid glue. I continue with blending the background. I've cut a piece of watercolor paper roughly the size of the slimline die I'm going to use. With Distress Oxide in the colors Chip Sapphire and Blueprint Sketch, I'm going to blend the background. I'm doing just a simple gradient. By the way, if you like my videos, you can support my channel by subscribing. If you already have, thank you! When I'm done with the ink blending, I'm sprinkling on some water and dab the excess off with a paper towel. Now I'm going to die cut it with the slimline die. Time to assemble the card. Off screen, I die cutted the spooky fence border from Lawn Fawn out of another slimline piece from black cardstock. Since the die isn't long enough for a slimline, I needed to repeat it. I chose to do it from the middle to the sides because the middle will be covered with the snow globe. Out of some patterned paper, I die cutted a scalloped slimline piece and I already made a card base out of black cardstock. First I'm gluing the scalloped piece to the card base. I put the card base aside and I'm starting to assemble my scene by adding the fence to the background. Next, I'm adding the ghost and the bats to the snow globe. I use tin foam tape to adhere the globe to the scene. Next is arranging the costume kits to the scene and add their props. The costume kits that are in front are adhered to the scene with tin foam tape. The ones on the back are glued on. When the whole scene is done, all that is left to do is adding it to my card base. I'm also using tin foam tape for this, to elevate it from the card base just a little. To finish my card off, I'm adding a few drops of Nouveau glitter drops in the color Midnight Sky. If the drop still has a little peak, I poke around a little with something sharp to smooth it out. And there you have it, the finished card. When I got myself the How You Been set from Lawn Fawn that includes the little jar, I started to use that jar on many of my cards, because it's so versatile. With the snow globe I use now, I'm sure the same thing will happen. It's just too much fun to think of the little scenes you can make in the snow globe, and if you want to add the globe into a scene or not. I hope you enjoyed my fourth video of my Halloween week. The final video that wraps up my Halloween week will be here tomorrow. I hope you're inspired after watching this video. If so, please consider leaving a thumbs up, subscribing to my channel and ringing the bell to receive notifications when a new video is up. Thanks for watching and I hope to see you tomorrow. Bye!